What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Saturday, December 13th, and we are back with another weekly recap here on the Touring Your Rain Reloaded channel. For those of y'all who don't know what the weekly recap is and you're new to the channel, that is basically the one day out of the week where I go live and cover the stories that I wasn't able to cover throughout the week. And I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I switched up the upload style where I'm doing every other day, and it's a reason why I'm doing that, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But before we get into all of that, if you have not done so already, make sure y'all go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you are new, and if you are new to the channel, I'm glad that you are here. Hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live, or join the Discord, and you should be able to get the notifications in there. I do have the double feature turned on today. Basically, I have the landscape mode on and I have the vertical mode on. So I know it's probably going to be some people, so it's going to be split. So it's going to be some people that's going to be on the vertical side, and there's also going to be some people that's going to be on the non-vertical side. But shout out to each and every one of you that are on either side. But before we get into everything, let me go ahead and acknowledge those who are here so far in the chat. We got Dimpleface, Firebat, Wallow J, Hurricane Nisi, Kind Equation Arts, Gamers Den, Jesse, Sweeting 9609, Boilermaker, KG, Emmanuel, Yanni, Sybil, J Cage, I am Stewart, Brother Man, to you. Who else do we have in here? Chris, Nini, and oh man, said I mod both. Yeah, I noticed one comment didn't have the vertical sign, or the vertical is actually it's supposed to be a replica of a smartphone. So I noticed that I saw on one comment you had the smartphone on, and the other you didn't. But I appreciate the effort that you're modding back and forth, because it's literally like two different chats. Like if you notice on the vertical side, it may not be that many people there, but if you look on the non-vertical side, it might be a plethora of people there. But the views still count as one. Like they'll combine them all as one thing. But shout out to each and every one of you that is here. Oh, before I get into everything, do y'all know that, the video that I did yesterday, the one I did on Scott Adams getting that special treatment? For those of y'all who didn't catch it, I actually recorded that video probably about a month ago because I wasn't sure if I wasn't going to upload it or not. But then I just thought, so you know what? Let me just go ahead and put the video out there. And I give people a reminder at the end about what he said about Black people 2 years ago. Guess what happened yesterday? Or it probably happened yesterday, but the video went out today, or at least I saw the video today. And KG, you already know about it because me, you, and Cosmo are in a group chat. So I had sent it to y'all. He put out a video on his I don't know if that was Rumble or what have you, but someone got a hold of it and he put the video out there. Apparently, according to him, he has now announced that he is paralyzed from the waist down. He also said in the video that he hasn't, I'll try to say this as calm as possible. He has not relieved himself in like 4 to 5 days. Now, I didn't watch the video. I'm just going based off of the caption. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But I hope everybody is having a good day. I hope everyone's having a good day so far. We're about to get into these topics. And thankfully, most of the things that I found are video based, so I don't have to read much. I only have one article that I have to read. And the reason why I have to read it is because, well, there's no video attached to it, but we're going to push on through. But the first thing I wanted to do, KG said he doesn't know if the treatment will work. Exactly, because that's the thing. It's terminal. When something is terminal, that's serious. That means you're near the end. Like, there's only so much treatment that they can do for you. Like, unless there's some miracle treatment out there that's going to jolt you back up, it's a wrap. At this point, all you can do is just like stay comfortable. That's really all it is to it. And if it's accelerated, that's even worse. But let me now go ahead and get into everything. The first thing I wanted to do was an update. Who remembers the collab that I did with Jew Almighty? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all were here when I did a collab with Jew Almighty. Maybe, shoot, it's probably been almost a month. It's amazing how time just flies. We were talking about that John Menadayo guy, the one who was in those chat rooms with those kids talking all that reckless stuff. Well, I will have you to know that a major update has come from that. And I'm glad that they actually stayed on top of this, because they could have just let this just fly on by and just leave it at that. But an update just came. Let me read what the title says. Neo-Nazi org scrambles after being deplatformed. Civil rights lawyers celebrate. So let's see what they're talking about.
An attorney for a national civil rights organization is celebrating recent defeats for a neo-Nazi group that stirred up trouble here in Nashville and hopes this is a sign of more to come. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. The latest blow for the so-called Goyim Defense League came when its websites were recently taken down following News Channel 5's confronting hate investigation. Still, that is not stopping the neo-Nazis from trying to make a comeback.
News Channel 5 chief investigative reporter Phil Williams spoke with an attorney who's leading the charge to hold the group responsible for its actions. And Phil, he thinks your investigation is what helped put this group on the defensive, right?
That, along with his group's own efforts, including a new lawsuit filed just today. Just like it did with the Klan and other neo-Nazi groups, the Southern Poverty Law Center has now set its sights on neo-Nazi leader John Menadio and his Goyim Defense League. Now, these mugshots show 3 GDL members who were convicted on criminal charges just in the past year for their activities here in Nashville.
Well, first of all, congratulations, because what you did is knock him off of what is the most common domain, like the .com, right?
Scott McCoy, the deputy legal counsel for the Southern Poverty Law Center, is talking about our investigation of neo-Nazi John Menadio and his Goyim Defense League.
What's up, man?
Hey,
how are you?
What's up? Yeah,
Good, man. How old are you?
10.
Awesome, man.
That investigation recently revealed how Manadio was going into video chat rooms where children often hang out, berating children of color while trying to recruit white kids, urging them to get guns and to get ready to kill. We now know that after News Channel 5 Investigates reached out to the companies providing services for Manadio's websites to ask if his activities violated their rules, it was the domain registrar that yanked his .com domains, taking those websites down.
Deplatforming these folks from things like .com, .org, .net, which are the big ones, right, is actually a really meaningful thing to do. Because what we're worried about is them having a broad platform in order to, traffic in this hate.
Hopefully, we get our website back. Obviously, the viewership has plummeted.
Notice the tone change. Remember, a couple weeks ago when we was going over this, he was speaking with such bravado. Even when they followed up with him like the following week, he was still talking like he had it all together. Like, no one was going to stop him, like he was untouchable. Now notice his tone shift is very different. He sounds defeated. He said they done snatched our platforms down and our views have plummeted. And with that also means that he can't make any money. Because remember, in the live that me and you collaborated on, they were racking up in donations like crazy. Like, I mean, you was talking about 200 here, 500 there, like 300 there.
Video was soon back online.
Do you avoid in public? Even
continuing to interact with children, this time using an obscure web domain that, by his own admission, was harder for people to find.
And the more obscure the domain name is, the more obscure the platform is, the harder it is, to be found, honestly. And also it's worthwhile because it makes them expend time and energy rebuilding what they had before.
And Manadio has since complained in a Telegram post that he had 3 accounts gassed on X, what used to be Twitter, but that he would be back soon with an under-the-radar account.
Now, why would you actually put out there that you're going to come back with an under-the-radar account? Like, they ain't going to find that. Like, why would you, if you're going to do that, why would you announce what you plan to do if you're coming back? Because now that means they'll be on the radar waiting for you to come with something like that, and they're going to snatch that one too. I'm telling you, the white supremacist is not intelligent. They are not smart. Exactly, Fireback. He ratted on himself.
Which Scott McCoy noted means he has to start over.
It is a game of whack-a-mole, let's be honest. I mean, it is just a nature of the modern internet. It is very expansive. You can, eventually find someone to host this kind of content. But it does make a difference.
Now, what I've heard from some of John Manadio's followers is, well, you're anti-First Amendment, you're anti-free speech. What's your reaction to that?
I believe in the First Amendment, and absolutely it's out there. The problem is when their First Amendment speech crosses over into conduct and incites conduct, and that's when there's a problem.
In the summer of 2024, the Goyim Defense League was involved in a violent attack on a downtown bar employee, as well as a nighttime assault on a young Jewish man.
And they try to tell us we're violent. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? In one clip, they jumping somebody out in, mind you, this is out in public in front of a whole bunch of people, and they're jumping somebody. I want to know from all these tap dancing buffoons that got this so-called black fatigue, where's your videos and commentaries on that? And that happened last year. Both incidents happened last year.
GDL member Ryan Scott McCann from Canada was convicted and sentenced to almost 4 years in prison for those assaults. Louis Edward Dunn from Arizona was indicted for his role in the assault on the Jewish man and is awaiting trial. David Aaron Boyd from Texas was convicted for his online threats against Nashville DA Glenn Funk and sentenced to 3 years in federal prison.
Notice all of these individuals, one is from Canada, so he's not even from the States. The other one was from Arizona, and the other was from Texas. None of them are from the location in which these incidents happened in, which was in Tennessee. None of them live in the state. None of them are from there, but they traveled there to cause chaos. But somehow we are the problem.
And GDL member Travis Keith Garland from East Tennessee pleaded guilty to trespassing at Nashville's Jewish Community Center. He was sentenced to 11 months, 29 days in jail.
Is his gun out?
Yeah, he's gonna shoot me. He's gonna shoot me. I'm recording.
That stems from a separate incident where Garland tried to force his way into Nashville's Gordon Jewish Community Center wearing a rabbi costume.
We want them to be punished for what they did, the conduct that they did to our clients.
Now, the Southern Poverty Law Center has filed a civil rights lawsuit on behalf of the bar employee, hoping to make Menadio and his crew pay for their conduct. A federal judge recently ruled that the case can proceed.
And so now we move forward into discovery, where we get to take their depositions and we get to seek information from them and other things to learn more about what they did and to support the claims that we're bringing.
Add to that a new lawsuit that SPLC filed over the anti-Semitic incident at the Jewish Community Center, all part of an effort to send a message that this kind of hate has no place in America. That second lawsuit was filed just this afternoon. It accuses the group, including Menadio and another prominent GDL figure, Paul Miller, of conspiring to violate the rights of area Jews with that incident at the Jewish Community Center. Ironically, Menadio and Miller are now engaged in a major feud with each other, giving each other a dose of the hate that they've inflicted on people who don't look and think like them. Of course, we'll keep following both of these lawsuits as they make their way through the court.
Shout out to the News Channel 5 down there in Tennessee. I give it to him. They state this man right here, because he's like the main investigative reporter for this story since it started. He's been staying on top of it, and this is the only, honestly, this is the only way I would be able to find out and know about the updates surrounding this is because of this guy right here. So shout out to him. But yeah, y'all saw them videos. They was up there jumping people out in broad daylight and hitting people at night and ambushing. But you know, black fatigue, let them tell it. But shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Again, if you have not done so already, please be sure to hit the like button and the share button. I will greatly appreciate it. But now let's move on to this next story. It's involving this black admiral named Alvin Holsey. And they say he retired from the U.S. Navy after 37 years of service, but there's a reason why he retired. So let's go ahead and find out that reasoning.
Of U.S. military forces in Latin America is stepping down as commander of U.S. Southern Command. A ceremony was held earlier today in South Florida.
He is retiring 2 years earlier than expected. Local 10's Glenna Milberg is in Doral with details on this sudden announcement.
So clear at this ceremony today that Admiral Holsey really is ready to retire. But all along, he nor Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has ever given the reason why he's retiring 2 years early. A lot of circumstantial evidence to suggest that the Admiral here really had a lot of questions about Operation Southern Spear in the Caribbean that he and Southcom were heading up.
Lieutenant General Pettis, I'm ready to be relieved.
Shipmate is going ashore.
A retirement ceremony steeped in history.
This time, I will be home for Christmas.
Touching.
The distinctive accomplishments of Admiral Holsey.
And a glowing tribute to Admiral Alvin Holsey, 37-year Navy veteran, retiring at the top of Southern Command 1 year into his tenure here and 2 years before expected.
We must always be there for like-minded partners, like-minded nations who share our values, democracy, rule of law, and human rights.
A beautiful public-facing ceremony with no mention at all of the behind-the-scenes drama and questions that have been swirling since Admiral Holsey announced his retirement. The Admiral overseeing Southcom's massive deployment in the Caribbean, targeting Venezuela through the lens of drug trafficking, under scrutiny following fatal strikes on boats in the Caribbean. Sourced reporting describing the Admiral at odds with the plan of attack.
I fully support that strike.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's October post announcing the Admiral's December retirement, surprising and troubling to members of Congress who worked with armed forces.
You've lived a Stoic's philosophy of empathy first, lead with your heart and lead with your head.
Surprising, too, for those the Admiral led here, unable to speak on the record today. With this ceremony today, the Admiral's lieutenant here, Evan Pettis, will now step into that role as commander of Southcom on an interim basis. I'm Glenna Milberg in Doral, Local 10.
All right, so there you have it right there. And I'm seeing y'all got the wheels spinning in the chat, and I'm kind of agreeing. I'm kind of like leaning in and agreeing with you. This guy is getting out before he ends up becoming the fall guy for whatever Pete Hegseth, whatever diabolical plan this guy might have swirling around in his head. He was like, nope, I don't want no parts of that. Let me go ahead and leave early. Give me my checks, and let me retire while I still have a good reputation to my name, because I don't want to be responsible for whatever it is y'all got planned. Like, he probably knows what's about to happen, and he doesn't want his name attached to it. So he's getting the hell up out of there before things really pop off. I can only commend him for doing that. That's actually very smart. He said, I'm not about to have this blood on my hands. I'm not about to have this weighed down on my conscience and having me stay up late at night knowing about what I did. People like Pete Hegseth can go to sleep at night knowing what's about to happen. This guy clearly cannot. That's the difference between those with morality and those who do not have it. Remember, they want to change the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Why would you change it to Department of War unless you know for a fact that you're constantly going to be in a war? Like, that never sat right with me at all. KG, please back me up on this. So I commend this Alvin Holsey guy for, his service and getting out, because some people wouldn't even do it. And he announced he announced he was retiring at a ceremony that was for him. He said, thank you for this honor, and I'm out. Yeah, they were like, huh? Yeah. He knows exactly what's about to happen. And he said, I don't want no parts. He said, I don't want my name attached to it, because guess what? He may not even be the one that's leading it at all, but because he's the face or the head, they're going to make him the fall guy, or try to. So kudos to him for doing that. All right, now we're about to go ahead now and head into the next story. Now, this next story right here, it's a commendable story, but it's also I'm trying to describe how I can describe this story. So basically, this video went viral involving this man from Detroit by the name of Joshua Threatt, who saw this little girl walking to school or walking outside by herself in the cold, just with a jacket on and some clothes. And he walked with her because he was like, she's by herself. Had no idea where she was going, but I guess she was going to school, but she was out there by herself. So I'm gonna go ahead now and play the video, and I think they actually interviewed him as well. And it's gonna lead into a bigger point.
Walking by herself. How old is you? 6. Man.
That's 36-year-old Detroit resident Joshua Threatt on Facebook Live Monday morning when he noticed a little girl with no hat, no gloves, walking alone in the cold.
She was walking up 14th. She was walking up 14, going to school down there. About 10 blocks, almost 10 blocks away. If I was cold, I definitely know she was cold. She had to be freezing, no doubt.
Joshua, a father himself, says he would do whatever he needed to do to make sure the 6-year-old got to her school. She told him it was Thurkle Elementary.
I actually thought about my youngest, because my youngest is the same age. So it was like, this shouldn't be like somebody need to be with her, to escort her.
When Joshua and the little girl arrived at the school, he said he made sure to tell staff at the front door exactly what happened, and that's when he broke down into tears.
She probably scared because she been walking for about 10 blocks.
Where's your sister?
She probably scared. So many people just pulled up on that little girl. I'm so happy I seen her.
Thank you, baby. God gonna bless you too.
I'm so happy I seen her.
Yes.
Joshua says he spoke with the little girl's father after the video went viral.
It was like we had a good, nice man-to-man talk.
This is heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking completely.
Tiffany Canty's children also attend Thurkle Elementary and says what Joshua did was a blessing.
We love you, Black King.
I reached out to the school district and to Detroit police to find out if they were looking into the situation. DPD tells me their officers have been in contact with the girl's family, and they add that this is not the first time that this has happened to her. I'm told CPS has also been notified. The district did not respond back before deadline. I wasn't able to contact the girl's parents, but Joshua has a message for all moms and dads.
You got to make sure the kid's safety is first and foremost before anything.
On the city's west side, Peter Maxwell, 7 News, Detroit.
All right, so y'all just saw that right there. And let me give a shout out to this man right here, Joshua Threatt, for like literally seeing this little girl and taking it upon himself to go and assist her, because things happen so fast. And when they said that this is not the first time it's happened, that's scary for the simple fact that what the hell is going on in her home where this is happening often? It's not like this is the first time this has happened. They said it's happened several times where she just wandered off and was walking to wherever. Good thing that she just happened to be walking to school, and good thing he happened to see her. And it's crazy because now they said CPS is involved, and the worst thing that could possibly happen is that she could end up in the system if they decide to take her out of the home. It's like she's in a double-edged like situation where if she's taken out of the home and she's put in the system, that's bad. But if she's, her parents are taken away, then okay, where's she going? But one thing that a reason why I wanted to highlight this is because you have so many people that love to say that we don't look out for each other. They love to say that the community does not look out for each other. This is not the first time I've come across a video where a child was alone and a black man in particular had to come in and sort of, I guess you can say, unofficially rescue the child. And what I mean by that is when they see a child and they were like, wait a minute, something doesn't seem right. This kind of reminds me, if y'all remember, a couple years ago, I did a video about it was these kids, some black kids, they were going away to the bus stop and it was dark. Some depending on the time of the year, it might still be dark out there, and depending on how early they got to catch the bus. It was maybe like 2 or 3 kids out there, and it was this van. Think of the movie The Black Phone. It was this van that was parked on the other side. And you know what you mean? That means when you see that a van like that. Thankfully, it was a black guy that was there because that van was prepared to come and snatch those kids up. But the guy caught the person who was trying to was going to attempt to snatch those kids up. And when he got them and they opened up the door to that van, they basically found things in there that would line up with someone who has engaged or would engage with child kidnappings. So when people try to say that people don't look out for those in the community, I say look at stories like that and look at stories like this. We do look out for each other. Don't let the media, or especially those fools over on Twitter, especially, try to tell you that we don't look out for our own. We do. And this is a perfect example of that. I think he should definitely get like the key to the city or something for this. Because like KG said in the chat, it could have been somebody lurking. And that's why people implore you to look up who are those offenders in your neighborhood. It's like who's registered. It's a whole registry. I know it might be scary to look it up because you never know. You might have come across that person before. Hell, you could be living next door to him. But it's better to know than to not know at the end of the day. So kudos to this man. And, as far as the girl's parents, if you want to call them parents, something needs to be done with them and about them, because that's ridiculous. Because it also begs the question, if the girl got snatched up, God forbid, thank God she wasn't, would they have even cared? Clearly they don't, because they let her wander off many times. Well, let me move on now to the next story. And this one's coming out of Kentucky. I don't know if y'all heard, but at Kentucky State, there was a shooting that happened. It says 1 dead, another injured, and the suspect is in custody. Let's get into it.
I do want to start with a story that we have been tracking over the last 12 hours or so as we follow the latest on a shooting at Kentucky State University in the Commonwealth's capital of Frankfort. The suspect, who Frankfurt police identify as Jacob Lee Bard, which we now have his booking photo. Do want to pop that up for you on your screen there. Now, from the Franklin County Detention Center here, online records there show that he's charged with murder and first-degree assault. Frankfurt police say one student was killed, another critically wounded when the gunshots were fired at a residence hall on campus. It happened over at Whitney M. Young Jr. Hall. While the victims are students, police say Bard, the suspect, is not. And the shooting happened around 3 p.m. local time Tuesday, with the assistant chief of police calling it an isolated incident. Investigators explain that Bard is actually from Evansville, Indiana, which is about 150 miles west of Frankfurt. Again, we know one student was killed, another critically wounded, but their names have not been released. Police speaking very briefly last night about all of this, and I do want to pop up the audio and listen in to that.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Scott Tracy, Assistant Chief of Police at the Frankfurt Police Department. I'm going to make a brief statement and then hand it over to Dr. Acapo for a statement from the university. This afternoon at approximately 3:10 p.m., our Frankfurt dispatch received a call reporting a shooting on the campus of Kentucky State University. Within minutes, by 3:14 p.m., Frankfurt police officers arrived on scene. By that time, Kentucky State University campus police had already taken swift action, bringing a suspect into custody. 3 individuals were involved in the incident. One individual, who is not a Kentucky State University student, is in custody. Frankfurt police believe this to be an isolated incident, and there are no active safety concerns on campus at this time. The other 2 individuals involved were current Kentucky State University students. Both suffered gunshot wounds. They were quickly transported to a local hospital for treatment by Frankfurt Fire and EMS. Tragically, one has passed away from injuries. The other remains in critical condition. Our thoughts are with them, their families, and the entire Kentucky State University community, as well as the Frankfurt community, as they navigate this difficult moment. I want to express my deepest appreciation for the quick, coordinated response between our officers and the Kentucky State University campus police. The department was also assisted by local, state, and federal agencies, Franklin County Sheriff's Office, the Kentucky State Police, Frankfurt and Franklin County Emergency Management, Kentucky Office of Homeland Security, the ATF, Frankfurt Fire and EMS. Their rapid actions ensured that the situation was contained almost immediately, preventing further harm. We understand how unsettling incidents like this can be for students, parents, and our community. But please know that the safety of our residents and our campus partners remains our top priority. And we will continue to work closely with Kentucky State University as this investigation moves forward. We will share additional information as it becomes available and as this investigation allows. At this time, I'll introduce Dr. Acapo, President of Kentucky State University.
Thank you and good evening. Today indeed was a senseless tragedy. We're mourning the loss of one of our students. As a parent, I cannot imagine receiving the call I placed today to the parents. Our students need prayers. Kentucky State University needs prayers. I cannot thank our law enforcement enough, our community enough, and our leader right here with me enough. Thank you even for being here.
All right, so no questions taken there by Frankfurt police, as they do say once again that one student there was killed in the shooting that happened on a residence hall, or at a residence hall, I should say, and the other student critically injured. However, we have not received an update on that student's condition as of this morning. But as you saw there, the suspect is in custody.
All right, so that's the story right there. And also, in case y'all did not know, Kentucky State University is an HBCU. I just wanted to put that out there, for added additional context. So this is the guy right here that did the shooting, Jacob Lee Bard. This is a fresh story. This just happened this week. All they know is that one person unfortunately lost their life. There was another injured, and they have this one in custody. It's a very sad event. Condolences to the person that lost their life. I know their family is probably going through it right now, and it's crazy because this happened probably right before they were getting ready to go home for the winter break. Wow, can you imagine getting that type of news? Kentucky State is a HBCU. Because I think it's the thing when you think of HBCUs, you think of a lot of schools in the South, because a lot of Southern schools are HBCUs, and Kentucky is not really considered the South. I mean, when you think Kentucky, you don't think of an HBCU being it, but it is. I think the furthest out west HBCU goes is probably Texas. I think that's the furthest out west that they go. For the most part, most HBCUs are in the South, but it's still an ongoing investigation. No, they said that the shooter was not a student. Like, this looks like a whole grown ass man right here that did this. And they said they don't know the reasoning as to why he did it, because they said he drove 150 miles from Indiana. Like, what would possess someone to drive that far to go to this school in particular to do this? It's not like he went to a college campus in his home state or even in close vicinity. He drove cross state to do this. So I think for me, that's the question I need answered. Why would you drive that far to go to this school to do that? Because now people are going to almost think, was this personal? What's really going on here? Fiction said, what is his background? I'm not sure. I know what you mean when you ask that question, though, but I'm not sure. Glenda said his son was a student there. Oh, well, I didn't know that. If that is true, I didn't know that. But still, that makes me beg the question, why would you? I don't know. Hopefully there's going to be more that comes out from this. I'm sure they're going to interview him and talk to him, and because I really want to know why he did this. What made him go and pull this off? But we'll see what comes of it. I'll try to see if I can stay up to date on it. If there's updates to come, then I'll probably just incorporate that into another weekly recap. But let's move on to this wild story right here happening down in Little Rock, Arkansas. Man, let me tell you. And I found out about this on an Instagram post, but I didn't have the full context. I just saw a little small clip, and I kept trying to find a news clipping, a news worthy thing to go along with it, and I found it. So it says community reacts to neo-Nazi group spotted in Little Rock, Arkansas. And when you see this foolishness right here, if you have not seen it, it is absolutely insane.
THV 11 News at 5. I'm Brooke Buckner.
And I'm Faith Woodard. Tonight we are learning the neo-Nazi group Blood Tribe that marched the streets of Little Rock over the weekend didn't have a...
And by the way, before I let them continue further, when they said Blood Tribe, when I found out the name of the group, I said I've heard of them because a few years ago I did a whole commentary about this Blood Tribe group. If y'all been subscribed to me since day one, you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Permit. Fear and frustration in Little Rock from many people after a neo-Nazi group marched at two of the city's most symbolic locations, including Central High School.
That's where we find THV11's Tanya Motorzitsky as she looks into how this demonstration by the hate group was allowed to happen and the community's response. Tanya?
Brooke and Faith, I'm here at the Capitol, but just not even a mile down the road where Central High School is where the neo-Nazi group gathered. And now many people are upset. And if you remember, just about 70 years ago, federal troops needed to walk some students in to give them protection. And now this past Saturday, neo-Nazis gathered at the school and here at the Capitol to demonstrate. So now many people in the community are questioning, was there more police can do? What are state officials and city officials saying so this doesn't happen again?
A small group of more than 20 white supremacists marched the streets of the Little Rock Capitol.
Nobody wants to know that Nazis are coming to their town.
And in front of Little Rock Central High School.
I don't think many people felt safe this weekend.
Something Representative Denise Ennett says was a reminder of history.
The Little Rock Nine, almost 70 years ago, these 9 brave souls went in to integrate Central High.
THV11 since learned the Blood Tribe, who demonstrated on Saturday, did not have a permit with the city or Capitol Police. By law, if they stayed on sidewalks and kept it moving, no permit is legally required. We also reached out to Governor Sarah Huckabee's office. Her spokesperson said in a statement, "Racism has no place in Arkansas, and I condemn this vile protest." Little Rock police say they monitored the situation and cited a member of the group who was driving the moving truck hauling the group. Little Rock chapter of the NAACP President Marie Hollowell says Arkansas needs stricter hate crime laws.
We cannot continue to cause this division. We cannot continue to promote hate.
And it says in 2021, during her first term as state representative, there was discussion of hate crime laws.
I remember that bill like it was yesterday. That bill was highly debated.
But she voted against it because it excluded certain groups of people. She says that bill did not go anywhere, but hopes if it's presented again during the next session, she gets to include every group impacted by hate crimes and is reminding constituents to be vigilant.
It takes a village. It takes people like you and me to call out this nonsense.
I did reach out to the Little Rock School District for a comment. They did not want to say anything at this time. And I also reached out to the mayor's office several times today. I did not hear back. Live at the Capitol, I'm Tanya Motorzitsky, THV11 News.
All right, so y'all just heard that right there. Now, there's one thing I wish they would have had in this video that they did not have. And that was, it was a clip, the clip that I saw, in which they did get some kind of a traffic infringement, because what happened was they were, if you listen in the audio that you just heard, they said they were packed inside of a U-Haul truck, which they were, and then they just got out of the truck. They ended up finding this truck that they were in an area that is a lot of traffic. And when they stopped them and they opened up the hatch of that truck, all of them just stand there huddled around wearing the black pants and the red shirts. They caused so many traffic violations that day. People was pissed about that because it caused traffic to get so backed up in an area where the traffic is supposed to move smoothly. This reminds me of what happened in Lincoln Heights. Y'all remember what happened in Lincoln Heights out there in Ohio when they were in them U-Haul trucks? That's when I saw that, it reminded me of that. When I saw this, I thought that it was that. I thought they were bringing it back up, but no, this was something different. But it reminded me of that. Yeah, J. Cage, when I heard them mention Sarah Huckabee's name, I said to myself, oh God, that woman don't give a damn. I'm like, do y'all know who she used to work for? And all the lies she used to tell when she was working? Yep, William 78. Yeah, the police was basically their security. And the black people ran their asses up out of there. But not before, they ran completely up out of there. What they did was, like the cowards they are, was waited till early in the morning when people were asleep and decided we're going to go into these black neighborhoods and vandalize their cars. I mean, they knocked out windows. They spray painted slurs on the side of the car. They flattened tires. And then when the black people woke up, that's when they saw it. But by the time they was going to go after them cowards were gone. That's why I can't take these groups seriously to the extent that they actually think they're doing something. Because they all do the same thing and act in the same vein when it's all said and done. So, yeah, there's that right there. And it doesn't even look like it was that many of them, because this is like the whole, for the most part, this is like the whole group right here. It doesn't look like it was that many of them. Not enough for them to really get something started if they really want to start something. But let's move on to this one. I actually should have put this at the beginning because, y'all, Derek Chauvin is back in the news again. He's trying to yet again get another appeal. Let's see what they're talking
In
about.
Minnesota, meanwhile, Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer convicted of murdering George Floyd, is seeking a new state trial, alleging, among other things, that misconduct by prosecutors and the false testimony of expert witnesses deprived him of a fair trial. The 71-page motion centers around four major claims. First, the defense argues police leaders misled jurors about whether the need to neck restraint was part of their training, pointing to 34 officers who now say it was. They also claim state medical experts relied too heavily on video instead of the autopsy, accusing prosecutors of ignoring medical findings that show no signs of asphyxiation, and say jurors received incorrect legal instruction.
Oh, dude, just do your damn time. Every time this guy's name comes up in the news, it's always about him trying to get a new trial, saying that he got railroaded by the system, that they got it all wrong, that somehow the jurors were coerced into saying the things that they said. They didn't actually want to say that. The judge got it wrong. I shouldn't have got this much time. I shouldn't have got any time at all, let alone not even any probation, and all this, that, and the goddamn third. Listen, the whole world saw what happened. We were all at home. How could we miss it? We saw it. This has got to be one of the most delusional people on the planet to actually get filmed. And the thing is, it's not like he didn't know he was being watched. It's not like he didn't know a camera was in his face. He even made eye contact with the camera lens and still kept his knee there and didn't give a damn. And now you want to say that, oh, our eyes are deceiving us and that somehow our eyes are lying. No, what it is he's scared for his life. Remember what the last encounter he had, it was almost it. Yeah, I don't think, from what I heard, I don't think he's had an encounter since then, but he's scared. He is shook up in there because people are not going to forget what he did. This is something that he's going to have to go to his grave with. Another reason they're upset is because of all that money, all that settlement money that George Floyd's family, more specifically his daughter, got. You know, it was bad enough that this white man is going to jail for killing a black man. That's one thing. But then to pay the family millions and millions in restitution for their pain and suffering, that's a whole nother monster that they cannot contend with. No, Chris, he has he got 22, and I know I think, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I think for the state he got 23 and a half years, and I think federal he got 22 years, if I'm not mistaken. So no, he didn't get life, but he got basically over 2 decades. That's still a long time because he hasn't even made it out of the first decade yet. And this is from the time of his sentencing. So he hasn't even done, I don't even think he's even done 5 years yet. Let alone 10. I know he hasn't done 10 yet. And you want to know what's interesting too, even though they're not the subject matter of this, the McMichaels, the ones who killed Ahmaud Arbery, they up there trying to do the same thing. They up there trying to get a new trial or something like that. Now those two got life. The third one, he got like 30 years, and then they'll most likely release him. But those two are trying to basically do the same thing that he's doing. But they want to sit up there and try to tell us about us not taking accountability. And like exactly, Dimple Face, both cases were on camera and both happened in the same year. Because you know, Ahmaud Arbery, that happened in February, and George Floyd happened in May. Listen, just enjoy your 3 hots and a cot. You only got 22 years. You're lucky you even got that. Because there's plenty of people who out there felt that Derek Chauvin should have got life. And if it was up to certain people, that he would have gotten the chair. Let's move on to the next one. Now, speaking of someone else who wants to get out of prison so bad, who remembers Dirty Dick Danny Holtzclaw? Now, this is someone I haven't talked about in a very long time, but even he got an update 2 days ago. I'm sorry. Let's see what they're talking about with him.
Oklahoma.
Damn ad. I wonder if Michelle Malkin is still visiting him. I wonder if she is, because she was one of his biggest supporters at one point in time. I think the most poetic thing about Daniel Holtzclaw was him getting sentenced to 200 and something years on his birthday. I think that was the most pettiest, ironic, and poetic thing ever for someone who deserved it. Damn, how many ads is it going to be? Okay, Justin said 22 and a half at the state level and 21 at federal. Okay. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's over 2 decades. It's over 20 years. And like I said, he hasn't even done 5 yet. I said if he's squirming about that right now, he's going to be going through it for the rest of the time that he's in there. Hold on, what's this? I don't think this is it, y'all. Wait a minute. Let me refresh this, because that wasn't even it either. This is it.
EnviroDispose is Oklahoma's #1 locally owned roll-off.
Man, y'all, this is the thing about live streams. If this was me doing a pre-record, I would be able to edit all of this out. Because I had to refresh the page and another damn ad popped up. Okay, here it is. This is it right here. We got it together now.
Former Oklahoma City police officer Daniel Holtzclaw, sent to prison 10 years ago today, is appealing to state leaders now. Right now, his family is gathered outside of the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals, claiming there is new evidence of what they call his wrongful conviction. Now, Holtzclaw is currently serving 263 years in prison for rape and other sex crimes. The former officer was convicted on 18 of 36 charges back in 2015. Well, now his supporters are calling on state leaders to review the case.
You hear that, supporters? These people, y'all, these are people that are supporting a man who went around and violated several black women. Let me just say this. These were black women that he did this to. It was no other group of women. It definitely wasn't a white woman, because if it was a white woman, he wouldn't have no supporters. These were black women that he was doing to. And I think some of them might have been minors. But he has supporters because of who he did it to. Remember, they weren't believing the stories of these women that he was doing this to until this elder woman said something and they had the DNA.
Highlighting what they call secret hearings, among other things, Holtzclaw released a statement from prison urging officials to re-examine the evidence. In a news conference happening right now, they're also releasing videos of what they say are his accusers, and they say it's cause for concern.
How many times did Holtzclaw touch you inappropriately?
He didn't touch me.
He never touched you?
No.
Now, his sister, Jenny Holtzclaw, is announcing a new whistleblower hotline after all of these revelations. It's a website that features what the family calls newly uncovered evidence, like that video you saw there. We are streaming that news conference live right now on news9.com. You can look for more from our Haley Hetrick.
All right, so there you have it right there. Dirty Dick Danny, as I like to call him, is now trying to get out. I think this part right here. Yeah, this was so memorable. I remember watching this happen in real time when this happened. And I remember they did a story about this. It was some show that used to come on TV One. Judge Faith was the host of it, and this was the first story that they covered. But yeah, I remember this. I said all the evidence there is stacked against him. He was doing this to unsuspecting victims, where people would thought that, oh, no one's going to believe them, so I'm gonna just go ahead and abuse my power. And the crazy part about it is there's a lot of others out there that are just like him. He is not the only one. Brother Me said I'm buffering. Am I buffering for anybody else? Refresh your page, brother man, if I'm buffering. But yeah, he and his supporters are full of it as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Yeah, Miss Phoenix says I'm not buffering. So brother man, it might be on your end. But when this happened, I was so disgusted by this. I'm like, this dude is insane. And you can tell that it was a pattern. It was a routine. He had who he was going after, and that's what he executed it. And he thought nothing was going to happen until he ran into that last one, and here we are. Yeah. But when they slapped him with that 200-something years, I said, God damn. And on your birthday? Sheesh. All right, let's get to this story right here. Now, this one is the one article that I have to read because I don't have a video to go along with it. Hold on, let me stop sharing my screen right quick and bring it back up. And Nancy Mace needs to sit her decrepit self down somewhere trying to bring this up. So in case y'all are unaware, Nancy Mace is trying to prop up this bill where it would rename the Black Lives Matter Plaza in DC and rename it for Charlie Kirk. I said, listen, I wasn't all for them doing the Black Lives Matter down there anyway when they first did it, but I was like, okay, fine. I know what element we're in right now, so I understand why they did it. It was a symbolism thing. It was basically after everything that had been going on in 2020. Okay, fine, whatever. But you want to put Charlie Kirk down there, a man that did not like black people. And I remember a video that he did. I think he was in DC and he was walking past there, and I think they were like removing it or something like that. And I had said, why don't they just paint over it? Why you got to dig up the ground and cause a whole bunch of detours and causing more money that the taxpayers got to divvy out for construction, unnecessary construction. And you want to put his name down there. Now, from what I also gathered is apparently they already started doing it in places like California. So let's see what they're talking about right here. And oh, we got a troll in here, y'all. We open your eyes says, you're full of shit. How ironic. I've been on here for almost an hour, and the minute I start talking about Charlie Kirk, this person pops up. Y'all know what to do. Bill would rename former Black Lives Matter Plaza for slain conservative activist Charlie Kirk. A South Carolina Republican congresswoman wants to remove a well-known stretch of 16th Street Northwest in D.C. after slain conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Representative Nancy Mace introduced legislation Wednesday to designate the area once known as Black Lives Matter Plaza as the Charlie Kirk Freedom of Speech Plaza. The proposal comes 3 months after Kirk was killed while speaking at a free speech event at a Utah college. What I find interesting, again, is that the person who took out Charlie Kirk was a white man, but Nancy Mace is anti-black herself and decides that she wants to put a plaza up there for someone who was also anti-black. Why didn't Nancy Mace take this to Utah if she wanted to do a dedication, seeing as how that's where it happened at? Mace said the change would honor Kirk's commitment to the First Amendment, calling him a champion of free speech and a voice for millions of young Americans. Her bill would require official signs to be placed in the plaza and updates made to federal maps and records. In a statement, Mace contrasted the unrest that followed George Floyd's killing in 2020 when the plaza was created in the response to Kirk's death, saying the earlier period was marked by chaos and destruction, while Kirk's killing brought prayer, peace, and unity. Nancy, if you don't get out of here with that bullshit. She argued that after Floyd's death, America watched criminals burn cities while police officers ordered them to stand down, adding that officers were vilified and abandoned by leaders who should have supported them. But DC Delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton pushed back, saying Congress should not override local control. DC deserves to decide what its own streets are named, since 700,000 people live in the city. And that's basically a dig at Nancy Mace, because Nancy Mace doesn't even live in DC. That heifer lives in South Carolina. It says the stretch of 16th Street was originally dedicated as Black Lives Matter Plaza in 2020 following nationwide protests over Floyd's death. Earlier this year, the city removed the mural. DC Mayor Muriel Bowser's office declined to comment on the bill, as did several members of the DC Council. Yeah, Nancy Mace, like KG just said in the chat, his phrasing, they don't want to save the countries, they just want to be celebrities. This is a perfect example right here, because what the hell is that going to do for anybody? Like, really, what is that going to do? That's not going to do anything. And like I said, her constituency is in South Carolina. Why are you up talking about stuff that's going on in DC? That has nothing to do with you. If they wanted to do it, let them deal with it, not you. And from what I gather, you're not doing a good job down in your state. Now, I got one more story that I'm going to go over, and I initially did not have it here, but since that's all that people have been talking about for the last week, well, since it happened this week, I want y'all to guess. We're going to play a guessing game, y'all. I want y'all to guess what the last story is going to be. And really, it shouldn't be hard to guess, because, again, this story has been floating around for the last maybe 24 to 48 hours. It's very fresh. I want y'all to guess in the chat, and when it pops up, that's when I'll bring the video up. No, King, you came in late. I already did the Kentucky shooting. I talked about that earlier.
The court proceeding for fired Michigan football coach Sharon Moore, now being charged with 3 crimes, 2 misdemeanors and a felony. The felony is home invasion. The 2 misdemeanors, stalking in a domestic relationship and breaking and entering. And it looks like he's going to be out on $25,000 bail. He'll have a GPS tether. The judge reading him all instructions that he cannot go out of the area. No booze, no alcohol. He's got to keep up with mental health treatment. He cannot contact the victim in any way, shape, or form. So just from you were listening and gathering all the details as well, Brian, are you surprised that, considering what happened here, that that the judge is letting him out on bond?
Not surprised at all. I understand a lot of the cases that we follow are high-profile murder or sexual assault types of cases. And while this does have very serious allegations, we are talking about home invasion in the 3rd degree. This would be the lowest level of home invasion the state of Michigan has. This is a person of means, and the way that Michigan operates when it comes to the bail system is highly dependent on cash. Some would argue that causes an imbalance in the system for those who do not have. But this is a former Michigan coach, and so he does have the means. That's why you're hearing a lot of them talk about, when you do get out, you will have a monitored tether. When you do get out, you have to abstain from certain items like alcohol and substance abuse. And if he does violate those, he can actually be brought back into jail, potentially have a higher amount of bond or bail, or not be released at all. The other thing that I would point out too is, in Michigan, like many other states, they created this date, this probable cause hearing or date of January 8th that they need to have this hearing beforehand. But it's very interesting that the defense waived that date and instead pushed it back. What that suggests to me is that he already has the money lined up, that he is going to get released sometime soon, and they can wait a couple more days to prepare and do a probable cause hearing later on in the month of January.
Got it. Okay. So, and just to follow up, because, you know, if someone has been a victim of domestic violence, they could be watching this thinking, Judge, why are you letting this guy go on a GPS tether, and why aren't you keeping him locked up? Because we heard the accusations that he broke into the apartment of this staffer he was apparently having an affair with, that he grabbed butter knives in out of the drawer, threatened to take his own life. Not quite sure what threats were made towards her, but she called 911. He's accused of stalking in a domestic relationship, also breaking and entering. You know, what's the thought process here? Why aren't they keeping him behind bars?
So it's a matter of competing interests here, right? And I understand and appreciate all of them. I think the one you're highlighting now is that of the alleged victim. The fear that someone who makes a report like this is going to have when they find out that that person can, in fact, post bail or bond or whatever it may be and simply be out. But I would highlight that he does have an ankle monitoring. Many police departments, especially those large police departments, I know more specifically about the NYPD, they may have a system where they have officers who might drive by the location of where that alleged victim lives to make sure that that suspect is not showing up. I can tell you, as a defense attorney here in New York, many times my clients have been caught because the police are doing a great job of making sure that that victim is safe and making sure their house is protected, and you catch that person. So there are safeguards there that the district attorney and police department will do. But the competing interest is also the presumption of innocence, that a defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty or unless proven guilty, and their freedom should be able to be given that. And in this country, we commit to this system where, you know what, we are going to have this kind of carrot and stick. The stick being that you will get punished more severely if you violate these conditions that we heard from the judge, and the carrot being that we will give you liberty at some of these lower level crimes, so long as you're on the hook, so to speak, with property or money, because we believe that will guarantee their appearance. The judge even highlighted he's not determining guilt or innocence, he's determining flight risk. Later on in the proceedings of this case and potentially a trial, then they'll determine guilt or innocence.
Got it. All right. And just, you know, a little bit about Sharon Moore, 39 years old, 2 seasons as head coach for the University of Michigan, was coming off back-to-back winning seasons with the Wolverines. Also, we should point out that he has been in trouble before. He served a 2-game suspension as part of a self-imposed sanctions for NCAA violations related to Michigan's sign stealing scandal, which came to light in 2023. And now it looks like he is being charged with 1 felony charge, 2 misdemeanors, from home invasion to stalking to breaking and entering. He will be out on $25,000 bail tied to a GPS tether and needs to seek counseling. We'll keep tracking it. Brian Buckmeyer, thank you so much.
Y'all, okay, I got a question for y'all. For those who remembers when I used to do my D&U series, put a 1 in the chat if y'all remember the D&U series that I used to do on my channel. Now, if you remember, that means y'all been around my channel for years, because it's been years since I've done one. That means y'all had to be here since the beginning. And when I say the beginning, I'm talking about going back to my original channel before this one. Wallow J said 2. Oh, Ms. Nisi said 2. I'm actually shocked. Ms. Nisi said 2 because Ms. Nisi been here a while. I see Joseph said 1. Savion said 1. Okay. So I used to have a series of videos on here that I used to do called DNU. DNU stood for Dumb Negroes United. And basically it's self-explanatory. It would be me doing videos on black men doing dumb shit. If I still had that DNU series, this dude right here would definitely qualify to be in the Dumb Negroes United playlist. Because why the hell would you mess up your bag like that for a piece of snatch that wasn't even yours, number one, but worked for you? Did he not learn anything from what happened with Ime Udoka? Now, for those of y'all who don't know who Ime Udoka is, that is the former coach for the Boston Celtics. He thankfully got another job, I think, working for the Houston Rockets. But he also used to be engaged to Nia Long. And now they're no longer engaged because of what he did. He too was messing with a staffer. And what made his even more egregious is that his staffer was attached to some money. Big money. Now, I don't know who this woman is attached to or not, but the fact of the matter is, if you was going to go out there and cheat on your wife, why didn't you mess with someone who was not working for the organization? And it's not like you didn't know what the rules were. It says no fraternizing with the workers. And he decided he felt like the rules didn't apply to him. They probably felt the rules didn't apply to each other. And they messed around, got caught, and when I think about the money, when I think about the money that he lost, being so stupid. Man, I would not be surprised if his wife takes him to the cleaners. This dude just lost all the way around. Like there is no W in sight for him. He is literally a walking L. He's holding an L. He's a walking L. He's the personification of an L. That is a big, hefty, heavy L that he is holding right now. And now look at him in this situation right here. Got so bad to the point where you go and show up to this woman's house and you threaten her. And what was with the butter knives? When I heard that, it made me. Who in here saw the movie Freddy vs. Jason? Y'all remember the scene with Kelly Rowland when she was antagonizing and gaslighting Freddy Krueger, and she said, "What's with the butter knives?" That's literally the scene that came to mind when I heard that. I said, "What's with the butter knives?" Right, brother, man. He said only had 2 days left to sign. That was a hefty contract he was about to get. That was a hefty payout he was about to receive and blew it. Now you see why I used to have a playlist called DNU. It is dedicated to people like this. And yes, I am well aware that this dude is Trinidadian. And yes, I am also aware that he's married to a white woman and they got 3 kids. Not only did he embarrass himself, but he also shamed that organization and he shamed his family on both sides. I hope their kids are homeschooled, but it looked like their kids are relatively young. So if I had to guess, they're probably in daycare right now. I swear, some of these people do not think before they act. I even saw people saying that this guy got bad D discipline. I'll let y'all fill in the blanks. I'm sure many of you know. I'm sure many of the guys in here know. I'm sure women know as well. Like I said, if you was going to cheat on your wife, which obviously you did, don't mess with the staff. It's literally written in the contract. And I'm sure they drilled that into his head, but he did it anyway. You thought because you had 2 winning seasons that you couldn't be touched? Sir, do you know what nation you live in? Do you know that they will love to railroad a black coach, especially if there's money involved? Boilermaker said they just had their third child this year. I sure hope that they saved up, because they will never see money like that again. Ever. He literally had a solid bag, and he blew it on some caucus snatch. Oh yeah, treasure that time. I'm glad you brought that up about the delivery driver. Allegedly, and DoorDash is involved, not with the whole thing, but something happened with the DoorDash. Can someone tell me, give me more elaboration? Because I heard something about a DoorDash. Was it something with some kind of, I would say, some kind of a pill? I know it was a DoorDash thing came into play with this. Let me see something. They said they outed his delivery, but what was he getting? He was getting something delivered. Oh yeah. It says rumors circulated online that a DoorDash driver had tipped off the school about a delivery of a Plan B pill. And we all know what that Plan B pill is. Man, oh my God. This dude is stupid. It's no other way to put it. This guy is dumb. So dumb. Like Remy Ma said, so dumb. So very, very dumb. But I'm gonna go ahead now and I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. If anybody would like to come up. Oh yeah, the DoorDash is getting sued because that's really how the whole thing blew up, was with the DoorDash person saying something. But it still doesn't erase what happened, though. I mean, the damage is done. All right, I'm putting the clock on, just giving y'all a heads up. But the link is in the chat if anyone would like to come up. Wallow, what's going on?
What's going on, Torian? What's going on, everybody in the chat? First off, I'm a salute to the military man for 36 years. You know, great for him. Get your money, get up out of there, because it's gonna get real messy next couple of years. So I salute him for doing what he did. But yeah, he very smart. Now the last dude we just talked about. Let me just go ahead and in for a little bit, sir. You was making $5.5 million. Not bad. You was about to get 3 times more, almost up to 3 times more on a new deal, and you squandered all that away over some, like you said, some caucus snatch. I ain't gonna lie to him. I like that one.
I literally came up with that on the fly. Like that's not something I was gonna say. I was gonna say something else, but I said let me just limit it to
that. Oh, you had me rolling. That's a good one though. Like, you got 3 kids. Oh, wow, you've been married to her for almost 10 years. Now she about to divorce you. Take all the rest of the money that you made. You about to be paying child support, sir. How dumb can you be?
And like
It ain't that serious.
And like someone else said, they just had their 3rd child this year. So now you got a whole newborn.
Boy, Ms. Nisi said it right. Common sense ain't common. Jesus Christ, man. I don't know. Social media has messed up a lot of people's minds. Because how can you be that dumb and make all that money? You know what? Let me get off.
He's proven how easy it is, unfortunately.
I mean, don't get me wrong, y'all. I've messed around with white women. Okay, it ain't that special. Don't get me wrong. Only thing special is the color scheme. That's it. I'm gonna land my plane there if I say something else. Be one.
Shout out to Wallows. What's going on, brother? You're muted. If you're talking, you're muted.
Oh, B1 salute. B1 salute. Torian, B1 salute to the chat. Oh, man, yeah. Old dummy Tether himself, he said that he didn't see color But now you see color see your ass, and them white folks see your ass. As far as Derek Chauvin, the hell with him. I hope he get poked up again. As far as those white supremacists that try to do that march in Little Rock, those the same ones that try to pull that nonsense in Lincoln Heights, Cincinnati, and got ran off the block by the FBA brothers and sisters out there. So they ain't, like you said, they ain't doing nothing new. It's the same old playbook they running. And shout out to Joshua Threatt for standing up for that child, making sure that child was safe and made it home safely. That's what FBA do. We always look out for the children, the women and the children first. So I think that's all I had. I don't want to get the buzzer, as Wallow J would say.
Okay, I appreciate you coming up. All right, before I bring up the next person, shout out to Noam King for the super chat. He said Torian be dropping new terms like an MF, and he said caucus. I'm laughing at myself because in the moment when I said it, I was being serious, but now it's like I'm laughing at it because I don't know. It's like I said, I was going to say something else, but then caucus snatch just kind of came up. I think I was going to say that plus the word snatch, but I said, you know what? I'm not going to say it as two words. Let me just make it one word. Y'all, if it pops up on Urban Dictionary, let me know who said it. It better have my name next to it. I'm just saying, if it catches on and you hear other people saying outside of here, just know that you heard it here first. Just like with palm color, that ended up in Urban Dictionary, and they gave me credit as the one that popularized that term. So if you hear it anywhere else, just know on this day of December 13th, 2025, at around 110 to 120, you heard it here. All right, Jonathan, what's going on?
What's going on, man? Okay, so I wanted to talk. Jared, first off, let me get Derek Chauvin out the way. Serve your time. Tell your people to hold themselves accountable. To hold themselves accountable. If you're not going to hold yourself accountable by trying to get these appeals, stand for the McMichaels. Stay there and rock, because y'all knew what y'all did was wrong. You need to take the consequences. Let me get that out the way. And what's up with all these coaches having been affairs with women on their staff? Well, I just heard about the Michigan head coach, Sharon Moore, who got fired and arrested for sexual assault or something at another staff member. He was arrested after he got fired. So, and that started trending. And this was being talked about all over YouTube. And Sharon, he cheated on his wife, who's a white person. Yeah, his wife is white. And he's take that whole same phrase that any PC person that claims they not racist, that same term, I don't see color. So if he ends up going to jail, he spends his time and all that over, and it turns out unfair, what he gonna do then? Come to our side and ask for and say, "Oh, yeah, I see racism." No, you're gonna stay over there because you claimed it. Now you gotta stand by it. Don't change it now. Don't come over here asking for help. If he ends up getting sentenced, even if it's unfair, don't come on the side asking for help. Go stay on that side and support. We be trying to tell y'all, and they refuse to listen. So yeah, this whole thing gotta stop, man. It's getting out of hand. And especially, and then most of they cheat on the white wives. I mean, if your wife, wow.
Thank you, Jonathan, for coming up. And I know Wallow is throwing a parade right now. I know he about to come into the chat and put a whole bunch of emojis. All right, let's see who's coming up next. Oh, y'all already know what time it is. Let me go ahead and hit that thing.
Heed my command and reclaim these relics of hatred.
Miss Niecy, what's going on?
Good afternoon, Torian and family in the chat. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. You know me. That football coach, you thought with the wrong head, and now you fucked up your bag. Oh, well. Sucks to be you. As I was listening to you recap on that story, I'm thinking about my son. You remember the conversation we had. And I'm thinking to myself, my son know how fucking nuts I am. My son ain't rich, but he know I will fuck him up. I don't play that. Kudos to the gentleman in Detroit looking after the little girl. Something's up with her parents. She needs to be removed from the home. Period.
Something's going on. Yeah.
You know, I don't play that about kids. Oh God. I'm gonna wrap it up with this. We know we are living in the end times. So all I gotta say is stay power tools up, stay warm, stay safe, and stay blessed. Love you, Torian.
Love you too. Shout out to Ms. Nisi for coming up. Before I bring up the next person, let me shout out Savion for being a member for 25 months on the channel. He said, LOL, that coach might as well join Dumb Negro University, just like the Somalis over there scamming. He might as well. I mean, he literally, if there is nothing else that is going to come out of this year, in this last month of 2025, he will have ended this year on a very sour note for himself. Not for us, but for himself. Because how in the world? And then on top of that, you know there's going to probably be a trial behind this, so that they're going to drag this out. It's going to be something. It's going to be very interesting. And whoever gets selected to be on that jury panel, they're going to have their work cut out for them. That's all I'm going to say. Let's bring up this next person. Disgusted Negro. What's going on?
F. Derek Chauvin.
Oh, Lord. I should have known. What's going on?
Why are they trying to get this man out of jail?
Good question. Good question. Same with him and Daniel Holtzclaw.
Fine, y'all let him out of jail. You just told everybody we could kill people and then get out in about 3 years. All right. I don't think you want more violent Negroes on the street. They don't listen, man. You know what? Cool. It's okay. Let him out. He ain't gonna survive a month, I guarantee you.
And the people up in Minnesota, the people up there, they know that, and that's why they don't want to let him out, because they saw what happened when all of this went down. They do not want a repeat of 2020. If anything, that's the reason why one of the main reasons why they're keeping him in. I have a feeling if it wasn't for that, they probably would have. But because of what could happen, they're like, we're not going to risk it.
No, because they have nothing to run on for the midterms. I don't know, but they got it. But the other thing is, listen, we done. Fam, just worry about yourselves. Let them destroy each other.
Yeah, if y'all, and like I said, if y'all are not on Twitter or X, whatever they're calling it, the amount of infighting that is going on over there is insane. Like, and the thing is, it's not like it's coming from just one person going after several or several going after one. It's them all going at each other. I'm sure if y'all been watching the last couple of broadcasts that TBA has done over the last 2 weeks in particular, you've seen what we're talking about. If you're not on those platforms, like, they are losing their damn minds, and it's not even midterms yet. So imagine where it's going to be at a year from now.
No, imagine summer. Summer's going to be fun. But last thing, do you realize this is the third Christmas in a row they've been yelling at each other?
What happened I know what happened last Christmas. What happened the two prior to that?
Calendar game.
Oh. See, that's why I don't remember, because that's so minuscule.
Yeah. The 4 hour live space they did with all them chicks in there trying to justify them in there, it being in the calendar. It was hilarious.
I guess.
Yeah, but I'm disgusted and I'm leaving.
All right, appreciate you coming up. Shout out to KG, and I think KG is the last person to come up, so shout out to him, and also shout out again to Gnome King for dropping the 2, and to Savion for being a member of the channel for 25 months and counting. But shout out to everybody who came through. I'm glad this was a good stream. I think I'm gonna do my streams like this more often. If I could find the video that goes with the actual topic, let the video do the talking instead of me reading it, because sometimes I get tired of reading. I do nothing but read when it comes to these videos anyway. So I said, let me go ahead and let the visuals do the work for me, and I just commentate at the end. A couple of things. There won't be a weekly recap next Saturday. Because I won't be available to do one. So it won't be a weekly recap that particular day. But 2 Saturdays from today, that is when we will have the end of the year stream. Of course, I'll put the stuff up about that when we get closer to it. And that's going to be in the evening, as we usually do. And you know, that's more of an open panel style. I don't let you just come up one by one like I usually do. That's when I just open it up for people to come up and we just chop it up about whatever and the stuff that happened over the course of the year, which is always a fun stream. The next commentary to go up will be on Monday, because like I said, I'm doing videos every other day now. That way, if there is a live that I want to do, I can just designate and do the live either on a Tuesday or a Thursday, or if it's like a huge story I want to talk about that's breaking news, I can have it fall on either that Tuesday or that Thursday. But typically, because I'm doing all these deep dive videos now, I need the space in between. That way, those are the days I can record those on. And trust me, I have so many deep dives coming for y'all that are going to blow your mind. If you think the ones I've been doing so far are interesting, wait until you see the ones I got coming next year. That's all I'm gonna say. And shout out to Brother Man to you for the $10. He said, nice show today, Torian. So thanks. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Anyway, y'all, we are about to go ahead and get up out of here. Shout out to everyone that came through. Shout out to everyone that came up and spoke. I will speak to you all again with commentary on Monday. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe, stay warm, but most importantly, be one.